Hello and welcome to my video. Now in this video I'm just going to go over a few things to do with the game. By the way, the game's nearly finished. All we have to do is put the human move in. Okay. So what I'm going to go through, I'm going to go through what happens, how the game starts. It's just going to be a brief summary. Now, we've already built the game, the part that does the thinking and works out the moves, and this is this here. So we've done all of this, then we put it in a class just to make it separate from everything else, so that we don't share variables, etc. Because we're going to start getting mixed up with all these variables. So we just separate them out by doing a class. And this part of the video is trying to build a graphic part so that we can, instead of us playing it in the console, we want to play it on a nice board like this. Okay. So what this is, for us to show this information, we have to get this from this. So I'm going to just quickly go through how the game starts. Now when React starts, the first thing it does is it runs this render function here. That's the first thing it does, and what this does, it does that first, and then it does that, and it does that, and it does that, and then it returns something, and that something is this. So this returns something, and then it runs another program called React render, and it gives it a target, and then it pushes the graphic on the page. So as you can see, that's React. That's what I'm using, and it's got React render. So we use we use this. That's like jQuery set in a HTML to whatever. That's what this does, but it renders it as well. It does some other stuff to it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about with just this one, and the rest of them are pretty much the same. So when it does render, it has to get this value. So it goes to this build main GUI, and that comes here. So what this does is, because this is the first thing that runs, we need some default values. So what this actually does is, when it is first run, can you see that variable there? It sets it, it sets it to, if it's false, which is that it's going to be false when it first gets loaded, it does that, and then it sets it to true. So it would only run it once in the entire game. So what this does, it creates a small board and then initializes the board. Okay, the reason why it does that is it needs some default values to run, or else it's going to be more complicated. It's easy for me to just supply default values. And then what it then does is, it wants to create these circles. So what it does is, it needs to get settings. So the next thing it does is it goes to get board, and get board it runs this AI that get board, and that is, can you see that? And can you see that? So what that AI get board is actually, it's actually this. So what I've done is, here I've created a board and I'll initialize it. So I'll show you, and that's exactly the same size as that board. And and I'll show you what it is. That is the board there, and if I do at dot a.get board, it gets the board. Now I'm going to show you a picture now. That this is a 2x1 board. So can you see inside of that class? One sec. Inside that class, that is the board. It's an array, and it's got 12 elements in it. Okay. So what happens is, when we do get board, it returns the inside array, which is these two here, which is just the middle. Because what it is, as I said at the start, when I do this line here, it's saying build a game board, which is 2 width 2 length 1. And when you do initialize board, what it does is it gets that board and it puts a border on it like that. So that's how it looks. However, this is going to be used by the AI. When this program here is using it, this only uses the inside board that is red. It doesn't use the outside board. So what we do is, when we do get board, can you see it returns 3, which is this inside array, and that's the only thing we use. Okay, so what does it do with that now? Okay, let's go back up here. So it gets the board. So what it does is creates an object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, instead of talking, I'm going to show you what the object does. So after it saves, it should run, and that object should do something. There it is. So that's what that object is. So when it says get board, it returns this. So it's the settings for a 2x2 object, and because it's a 2x2 object, the size is going to be that. That's going to be that. They're both white squares. Can you see the settings? And then what it does is, it will then use this map, and it will push. Even if there's 50 of them, it will put 50 of these on the board. So what it will do, it will get all 50 of them in there, and then it will put them on the board there. Okay. Now what I'm going to show you is, I can actually get this circle, copy it here. In fact, I'll do it. I'll do that. I'll copy it. And if I paste it, if I paste it here, it won't work. The reason it won't work is because it doesn't recognize. So when I've just pasted that circle on the board, I'm pasting one of these. Can you see? So can you see CC color represents the class? Okay, so for me to display this, I'm going to have to set the CC color. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have to set this, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take these two out. And I'm going to set the size, which is going to be that. I have to set I have to set the size. And if you see that thing that's called T size, if I go back up here, if I look at circle, T size is the style. Okay. So I've set the style. So the next thing I have to do is to set the CC color, and that is just a class. So if I copy what's in here, in fact, there's two ways you can do that. So that should work now. And can you see there's a red circle? So that's the class. Now if I take off that class, then it will just be white. Okay. Now I'm going to put that class back on. And what if I set the width to 700? So it's just like a custom. So you see what I've done? I made an element that was here, and I put some attributes on it. One of them I can call this anything I want. Alright, I can call that anything. I can call these anything I want. So I've made a custom thing. One of them is, and I can put anything I want on them. There you go, I've made a big 1700 circle. So I'm going to make it 200. Okay. So this here, that is an array of these. Okay. And they come from here. Can you see? That's just an array of circles. Now, if you want to comment something out in React, this is how you comment it out. You do this. So if I comment that back in, okay. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to get rid of that. And that's come back. So this is what happens then. As I was going through, it goes here, build GUI, it goes up there, gets that, gets a array of circles. Then it goes here, it gets whatever it gets, it goes here, it gets whatever it gets, it goes here, and then it goes to this return, and it puts the bunch of circles there, it puts whatever it does there, it puts whatever it does there, and then it displays a 2x1, because obviously it's first a 2x1. But obviously you don't see that because that's just the initial values, because I have to put something. In fact, it's not set there, but it's not set there, but it's set. Where does it say? It's set. It's set here, 2x1. Okay, so after it does the first render, what it then does is everything is on the board. So it's done the first render. So the next step it does is it comes to this thing that's called a life cycle. I forgot what it's called. It's a life cycle whatever. But anyway, so after everything, after React puts it's just a bit like document ready. Okay, after it's done everything, it comes to here and it runs whatever in here. So it does that. It does reset. That does reset. And what does this do? This gets the value of the width in the enum, gets the value height, value of the line, and then it makes a new AI and overwrites the one that we've just put in. Initializes board, start game does get board, so it gets the board, and then it does this set state board, and it also sets game over. Now, as soon as we run this set state, that is when it shows it on the board here. Okay, and what also happens is this value here, get board, which is the inside board here, that then gets stored in, let me close some of these. That value of the board gets stored in this here. Okay. I just want to test something. I'm sure I've got a console log somewhere. Let's test something. Yeah, I've got to find where I put that. Anyway. Okay. And that's how React works on this game. So all we're trying to do is show the view. We've already got the code that does all the logic to play the game and find forward a line, etc. All this is doing so this thing here, that's all the logic to play the game. All of this other stuff is just the logic to show it on the board. That's all this is doing, and it gets most of its information from here. So all it does is, when you see me run this start game, it goes to that thing there, and it runs get board, and that just returns the board, and then it does this set state. So what that's doing is, whenever you call a set state, it does a render. So it changes the board. Whatever's in that board AI will go in here, and then when it does a render, it will, as I said, it will go through that, it will go through that, it will go through that. So really, from the point of this game, whatever's in here shows on here, but I already showed you that in previous videos. Okay, so I'm going to end this video now. In the next video, I'm going to not finish the game, but you'll be able to play it. You'll be able to you make a move, the computer make a move, and then someone's going to win, and then he's going to say win. Okay, till next time, bye.